And that's what John's talking about. And she has a little follow-up with somebody. I have no idea who the man is, who was just doing a little interview. And basically she's saying, yeah, no real news was made. Nobody slapped each other in the face or something like this. Just a silly comment. And again, look, if we wanted to play gotcha with that, we easily could. We could take that clip, break it up, loop it, and make her say, like, is Lisa Vorderbrueggen advocating for face slapping?
Well, yeah. Let me stop you there.
I mean, and that's kind of what she's doing to us.
Right.
She's taking stuff out of context.
Right.
She's trying to paint us a certain way. Believe me, we can easily do it to her.
Yeah, I mean, let me say this super quick. That's the thing. People that, from friends and family and supporters of her, oh, you're so hard on her. You're mean. Dude, we're just going through the facts straight up. We're just responding because we were attacked. We're just showing people why conservative media is so important. If we wanted to do to her what she did to us, taking her things, snippets, making funny ads, making clips, misconstruing stuff, doing like a political history, we could destroy her beyond all recognition. But we're trying to be as fair as possible on this and still get our point across. See, we're legit. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, again, and look, we could do that. It wouldn't be hard to do it. The thing for most media consumers is that they don't understand how reporters and editors work. They don't understand how how the cuts and scrapes are inflicted by these people. We do. We understand them very well, and we know how to do them. And so that's why it's easy for us to point out when it's being done to us, because we know what's happening.
Right.
Now, again, John touched on this, and I mentioned this earlier as well. I mean, Lisa has written in one of her own pieces about Ellen Tauscher, about, quote-unquote, cocky bloggers who are wanting to play kingmaker. As John said, the conflict there is that she wants to play kingmaker. She wants, Contra Costa Times and traditional dinosaur media, they want to be kingmaker. So if the cocky bloggers or the cocky new media people are getting in the way, that's a conflict for them. Now, of course they want to take them out. This piece by her is a typical, it's kind of a twofer. She gets to stick up and hurt at least in my opinion, she gets to, it's GOP versus GOP. That's the one theme. All the controversy on the right, and she gets to take out some new media people that might be infringing on her turf. So this happens a lot. You'll see articles that, again, instead of just killing one bird with one stone, they'll try to get two birds with one stone. That's what her piece is.
Right, and let's talk about financial.
We're supposedly controversial and this type of thing or whatever. Well, just doing some very, very basic research on Google, it seems like Lisa Vorderbrueggen has been kind of enmeshed in some of her own controversies.
Is it a flap?
Supposedly, mentioned in one site as a popular moderator for political forums around the county. Well, the thing is, as John has said, look, where we stand. Even if we're getting paid or whatever, our views are known, our views are out there. Yeah. But when Lisa Vorderbrueggen is addressing the COCO taxpayers, or she's talking to the San Ramon Valley Democrats, is she getting paid for that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that how does, if she's getting paid for it, how does that affect what she says? Look, she had questions for us, and now we have questions for her.
Yeah.
And here's the first question. If you, Lisa Vorderbrueggen, number one, are you getting paid for these speeches or addresses that you're giving? If you're getting paid, number two, how does that affect what you say? Does that affect your remarks? Are you a mercenary? Do you tailor your address to the crowd that you're talking to? We want to know that.
I want to know. I want to know that. I want to know how much she's getting paid. I want to know how she selects. I want to know how she selects and how the Contra Costa Times approves if they do the events that she does.
Yep. So that's there's the exactly do your employers have to approve that? How do they make the selection? Who is deemed appropriate and inappropriate?
Is that a flap?
Are they skeptical about certain groups and not skeptical about others, the way that you're trying to be skeptical supposedly of us?
Right. How did Robert Beadles come to you? How did you come to know Robert Beadles? What background check did you make of him? Did you check out his sites? How did you determine his credibility? That's what I want to know. I also want to know, for a newspaper that's in trouble, whose parent company has been on bankruptcy watch list, right? And obviously, as Paul has pointed out, there is financial incentives for smaller columns that they've been cutting. I believe they've been making the paper smaller. We're going to put links to all this. Robert Beadles puts himself out there as a a guy who hires hundreds of people, has a bunch of real estate all over the place. Now, we know a lot of newspaper advertising, both online and in the paper, comes from real estate. Whether it's people selling houses, realtors, renting houses, things like that, and obviously, for hire stuff. How much advertising, if any, has Robert Beadles or his companies or his associates done with the Contra Costa Times? Do you have any personal affiliation with Robert Beadles? When did you first know about Robert Beadles? Does anyone that you know have a personal affiliation or financial relationship with Robert Beadles? That's what I want to know. And how did you become a fan of Robert? Why are you a fan of Robert Beadles? That's what I want to know as an objective political reporter. We have a lot of questions, Lisa. This is conservative media calling.
We do have a lot of questions, and here are a couple more. Why is it that your words about Ellen Tauscher's now husband...
Wait a minute. Explain who Ellen Tauscher is. Ellen Tauscher is a Democratic, right, congresswoman who frankly, I interviewed Ellen Tauscher way back when she was running against Bill Baker. She came on my show that was all around Northern California, Contra Costa Talk TV, and she got a fair shake. She knows she got a fair shake. Bill Baker got a fair shake. Lynn Leach got a fair shake. And Dan Bornstein, who works with you, was on that stuff with me on other shows. Not on that show, but on other shows. He knows what we do. So Ellen Tauscher, Democrat Congresswoman, who just retired, who is now in the State Department with Hillary Clinton. And so, go ahead, Paul. This is very insightful. Let's talk about the objective reporting here. This is very insightful. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just say this, too. 15 years before 2003, so 15 years before, when Ellen Tauscher was still a transportation and growth reporter for the Contra Costa Times.
No. You mean
was covering, the Republican National Convention in 1988. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you want people, credibility, or you want people that have experience? Give me a break, okay? So,
yeah.
So Ellen Tauscher, back to Ellen Tauscher. John just told you who she is. So, The Hill, which is a kind of a recent startup, a successful little political startup that covers Washington and Congress people, etc. Well, The Hill cited something that Lisa Vorderbrueggen wrote, and it sounds like something about Ellen Tauscher and her then fiance, I believe, and her now husband. And it sounds like something out of a Harlequin novel. I mean, it was kind of, it was like kind of painful to read.
What was it?
To put it mildly, we'll give you a link to it. But it's basically what she says is, Ellen Tauscher's, this is just a paraphrase, this isn't a quote, but, Ellen Tauscher's fiance, he's tall and looks, I don't know, he looks distinguished, like you would imagine a pilot would be. So what about the undistinguished-looking shorter pilots? Do they not fit the mold? Is that like a profiling kind of thing?
Are you profiling pilots now, Lisa Vorderbrueggen? Number one, and number two, what does I don't know, what does a lawyer, what would you think a lawyer looks like? What would you think that a doctor looks like? What would you think that a mechanic looks like? Where is this profiling of a pilot, number one? Number two, why are you waxing poetic and almost longingly, like Paul said, a Harlequin romance novel, about, Ellen Tauscher's little sweetheart or whatever, and this kind of situation? Amazing that I haven't seen you have that kind of positive, romantic-like spin and glee with anyone on the Republican side.
Yeah, so that was it just seemed kind of, look, this is just, again, it's my own personal opinion, just seemed a little inappropriate. It's kind of like, wait a second, this is someone else's fiancé. And you write about politics. This isn't gossip. Come on. Look, I understand she's trying to say, it's a flattering portrait of Ellen Tauscher's now husband, but it's just kind of like, Not odd, but just misplaced. So, okay, so that's, again, so there's kind of, some controversy or some kind of, maybe there's a little bit of flap there in terms of what is being written and who it's about, and, the words, and like John said, is that, does she write that way about Republican, candidates or Congress people's fiancés? I don't know. I don't know, because, again, until about a week ago, I didn't know who she was. So that's a question. We're seeing this kind of pattern of, there's some question marks about her own writing, her own reporting, whereas, she's trying to cast a